Hello, guys. How are you doing? I'm Sudarshan, the Starshine Star. Welcome. It's a beautiful Thursday. It is December 18th, 2025. Happy Guru Day. Every Thursday is Guru Day. I have a channel on YouTube called It's the Dazzling of the Light, or you can just go to YouTube and type in at Sudarshana Starshine Star. I just looked at it. I've got 292 clips there now. Most of them are podcast. I have a playlist that shows a few videos of me actually speaking. And I most definitely, with the coming new year, will be doing not only videos showing myself speaking and everything else, but possibly live. So I'm switching it up a bit. And I like to begin all of my clips with the three opening prayers, which are in Sanskrit and Telugu, and they are short. And this is to bless, uplift, purify, and protect you, me, and this clip. Before I do that, I command on the sacred holy blood of Jesus the Christ, Yeshua, to flow over all of us and all of our beloveds, to wash away any impurities, any negativity, any black magic, any negative habits or negativity in thought, word, and deed. Jesus the Christ, please cast out all satanics and all satanic attachments, all demonics and all demonic attachments. Please cast out the spirit of pain. Cast out the spirit of fear. Cast out the spirit of lack, scarcity, poverty. Cast out the spirit of ill health. Cast out the spirit of shame and blame. Cast out the spirit of low self-esteem, low self-confidence, excessive doubting of oneself. Cast out the spirit of misery. Thank you so much, Yeshua. Yeshua, please send your healing presence now for all of us, for all of our beloveds, our human beloveds, and our animal beloveds. Please heal the wounds in our souls. Yeshua, we receive your healing presence and your blessings now. Thank you so much. Amen. Swaha. I command on the sacred holy presence of Mother Mary to be here with all of us now, enveloping us in her beautiful, unconditional, loving, divine mother's embrace, and opening her fiercely loving, purifying, correcting, energizing, beautifying divine mother's heart. Yeshua and Mother Mary are for everyone. This is not about religion, even though some try to make it that way. Yeshua and Mother Mary are for everyone. It is cosmic, it is universal, it is far beyond the earth realm, and has nothing to do with religion. Thank you so much, Yeshua and Mother Mary. Amen. Swaha. And now to the prayers. Om, Om, Om Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwaraha, Guru Sakshat Parabrahmam, Tasmahi Sri Guru Vena Namaha. Om Shuklam Bharataram Vishnum Sashivarnam Chatobhujam Prasanavaranam Dhyaye Sarva Vignupashante. Om Bhuvasuvah Tat Savitur Varinyam Bhago Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Naha Prachodayat. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Excellent. Well, on this fine Thursday, I want to say, please remember to like, share, and subscribe, and hit the notification bell. And why not join my YouTube channel? Everything that we do is perceived by Mother, Father, God. And really to have the best life that we can have, it's really a good idea to try to keep a good balance, a healthy balance, as best we can, because sometimes things go out of whack, out of balance, but we can correct that as best we can, of course. Some days are better than others. Some weeks are better than others. Some months are better than others. Some years are better than others. That's just part of being a human. But when I see the people that listen to my podcasts, or even watch the couple videos that I have, which are really, that was a boon for people to watch that, because I gave a great healing tool about decharging negativity in that, and it's free. And I'm not charging anything, at least not right now. So while I'm giving this, whether you're using it for entertainment purposes only, or learning something from it or wanting to keep abreast of some things, or for whatever reason you're listening, that doesn't matter. But what does matter is when people are imbalanced in the way that they're partaking of something for free, and they're not even bothering to give it a like or a share or subscribe, or even subscribing to my channel. It doesn't cost anything. And possibly in the future, it will. And as I start doing more videos and getting more specific with some information and sharing things, maybe that will change. So be the best you. You're receiving something. It's called dakshina in my tradition, ancient Vedic knowledge from India, but it's a universal cosmic law. You can't just keep receiving without giving. You get out of balance, the same thing when you keep giving without receiving. So it's throwing me out of balance to keep giving and offering things to whomever, and then seeing that they can't even be bothered to give a little something in terms of liking. If they like it. If you don't like it, don't like it. But then why do you keep coming back? That's what I want to say. Why do you keep coming back? So, okay, enough of that. And thank you to all of you that are here. I don't judge that, but I have to speak up because I respect and love myself, and I know the value of my work, my word, my energy, my presence, as all of you should as well. All right? So God bless all of you. Thank you for being here. I really do appreciate you a lot. And yes, if you don't like something, don't like it. I don't like falsity. Only like it if you like it. Okay, so I'm going to do something. I think I'm going to call this Trump EO, which means, emergency, which means executive order. Trump EO / national emergency. He will control counties and states. Yes, everyone, wait till you see what's upcoming. What happens when President Trump can control counties, not just states, which the demented, very devilish sanctuary cities and state leaders, not the people of them, because I live in a sanctuary area myself, and there's tons of goodly and godly people all over the place, but the corruption is really in the leaders and the on all the levels. And not to say that human beings aren't corrupt as well, but when I'm talking about the corruption and the satanic ways and means of blue cities, blue states, or out of America, different parts of the United States, like if I talk about the EU, the Satanic European Union, or the Satanic United Nations, or the Satanic WEF, World Economic Forum, all of these things. But everything's getting scoured. So, swaha to that. This is information that was behind a paywall. And even though it's from a little bit ago, I think it's good for me to put it out now. And I will, this is not the full story, and I have a lot more to share with you guys. Stuff that was behind a paywall. I paid for it, I'm not asking you to. And I also have a lot of interesting things coming up. So you really will be missing out if you don't come on this channel anymore. I've got to say that without any ego. It's true. I've got some really good stuff coming up. So this is from paywall information from David Nino Rodriguez, who was a very successful heavyweight champion boxer, now retired, and 107, who, that's not really his real name, and he doesn't often show himself, or sometimes he shows his face, but he's wearing when you see him showing his face, he's wearing an obvious bodysuit, a fat suit, and a face mask, and it's obvious. I mean, he looks like a Cabbage Patch doll. But anyway, he's got the goods. And, but he's playing a character called 107. Here's a behind the paywall conversation. I first put this together, I was going to put it out on November 12th, but then I delayed it. So it's talking about a few things from a little bit in the past, but let's go with this. I'm going to share this with you. So here's David Nino Rodriguez. He likes to call himself Nino. Like I said before, he is Mexican American, and he knows definitely that Nino was pronounced Nino It means boy. But he pronounces it Nino. So that's how I'm going to pronounce it. I'll respect his ways instead of saying Nino. So Nino, he says, all right, folks, I want to talk about, we've been talking about the bond crisis. Financial crisis is ahead. A great reckoning is coming. Juanito, let's talk about the national emergency. You've touched on it, the national emergency that Trump was going to declare, sign an executive order. You've talked a lot about Gitmo, which is, I'm sure most of you know, but maybe some non-Americans are listening to this and they don't know that Gitmo is what we call Guantanamo Bay in Cuba, a military base there and a military prison there. All right, and there also, President Trump has built, there are lots of military courts there. There's lots of things for military tribunals that have been built out, as well as tons of medical facilities that are geriatric, meaning for old people, because as they stick in there and they age and they need that care. But don't think it's just Gitmo. We've got facilities in Greenland. We've got also military tribunals and courtrooms and holding cells and everything on big barges. And there's different places where this is taking place. Okay, let me go back to this. So, Nino says, you've talked a lot about Gitmo. Where are we in all that right now? Where do we stand with all that right now? What's expected? And then one says, well, this is what I was saying. You're talking about Newsom and the 2028 elections for the president and stuff like that. Newsom and a lot of the people would like to skip right past what's about to happen, as though it's nothing. It's nothing. Or we've got to worry about 2028. No, we don't. We've got to worry about this week, this month. We are not going to skip past this moment. We're trying to have the great reckoning before we have no control over it. And once you've gone over the side of the cliff, you can turn the wheel, you can hit the brakes. You're in free fall. Well, we're still at least halfway on the ground. We're going to skid it to a stop and get back under control. We've run the ship of state on the rocks, forever. And you've got insane people that are running the ship of state, spending money that we don't have, that we won't have. We've got a little over 2 million people who've left the country due to deportation and self-deportation. And the goal is 21 million. That there's 21 million people less here on U.S. soil by the time Trump leaves this presidency. And I'm going to interrupt here to say, listeners, President Trump last month was seen wearing the Trump 2028 cap, and he doesn't do that to play or be accidental. And he recently was seen addressing all of us, talking about running in 2028, and Mrs. Adelson, one of his big donors, stepped up at the podium with him and said that she was going to give him another $250 million to run his 2028 campaign. So God willing, it looks like President Trump will be running in 2028, and thank God for that. Anyway, so he said, so by the time Trump leaves this presidency, now, that's a lot of work. Will he hit those numbers? I think he will. I think he will exceed them. It's going to have a huge impact on everything, about every person in this audience. He's got a goal of stopping the bleeding of bullshit healthcare that isn't healing anybody, that is bleeding the life out of America. Like our veins are wide open. We're just bleeding out. Turn the water temperature up. Feel it will be nice and warm, cozy, as your body's getting colder and colder. That's why people go into a hot tub, right? Let the blood drain out. You get colder if you keep the water temperature up. It keeps you warm while you are dying. So we're not doing that. We're not going to allow that to happen on President Trump's watch. So the folks that got this are bringing some things to a head right now before it's too late. And of course, the 2026 midterms are key to that. So what does Trump told the world 3 weeks ago during a Ukraine press conference? Somebody asked him a question. He decided to answer it, even though the conference wasn't about it. And the answer was, we're going to have to deal with the mail-in ballots that are frauding elections. In that, Putin said the problem with elections in America, the mail-in ballot, everybody knows that. In Hawaii here, they had a huge showdown here about a week ago where there's this problem. And the biggest one in Maui County, 19,000 ballots that were, quote, mail-ins, end quote. Only problem, there's no envelopes with the ballots. Nino laughs a bit at that. And then he says, oh my God. And then Juan says, how can you have a ballot when there's no envelope that it came in. Ooh, they were already thrown away. They were in a box, but I don't know where the box got put, okay? Well, the course of this, the other thing, is that there's not one piece of mail in America today that goes through the postal system, which isn't photographed as it goes through. Everything gets photographed. In an era where we had poisons being sent out through the mail and toxins and things like that, before it even goes into the system, it's photographed, point of origin. So those ballots, if they were legitimate ballots, had to go through the U.S. mail. They didn't. There's nothing. Nino, wow. Juan. So in other words, somebody injected 19,000 ballots. Well, who got elected? A lot of the races were a few dozen votes here or there, putting certain people into office. And a bunch of people got into office. And there's a question whether or not the ballots are, the election itself was valid or not. Hawaii is a microcosm of things going on all across the country. It's as bad here, small. It's easier to deal with. The folks are getting ready to do a RICO, R-I-C-O, Racketeering, Influence, and Corrupt Organizations filing here, just like was put in Utah. We did the show on it. Tracy Halberson and that group, they're in Utah. By the way, since we did that show, there are now 4,000 people who have signed on to be on the class action suit. And in that lawsuit, and you don't have to be a Utah resident to be on it. You can be from anywhere in the country because they're spending federal dollars. The governor of Utah got into office through a fraud, a total fraud. The way that reads in the RICO, and I think it's absolutely accurate, as well as a U.S. Senator, Lieutenant Governor, they frauded the Utah voters in the way that they sell us on the ballot, in the way that they were not put on the ballot during the party process. That's going to continue to play out. Here in Hawaii, the governor was sworn in before the vote was even certified, as though it was just part of a fait accompli. And of course, all these fraudulent ballots out there. So question is the governor of Hawaii in office legitimately? You know, he's got 500 executive orders to run the state. Is that a government of the people, by the people, for the people? Or is it that just somebody operating like a king? You know, talk about a king. There's a guy that's operating like one. There's a guy that's operating like one. And these are being challenged now, and more, by the way, in Oregon. They have a matter concerning the governor, the legitimacy of the governor of Oregon office, with a cororanto on campaigns financed. And that's before the Supreme Court right now. It was just docketed here a little over a month ago. So whether it will actually get going to conference, there's a lot there that we know about because of the Brunson case. So it's hard to say how it will play out, but it's not going away. I expect the court in that one, hopefully, will send it back down to a lower court and tell them to resolve the issue. So you have stuff that's just coming to a head, and in a number of states around the country. And will it be the same, quote, good old boy, quote, thing with the courts? And they just shine it on? Or are we coming into a different era right now? I would contend that we are coming into a different era. Look, you've got out in Florida, you've got grand juries. I've told you that there are grand juries in play for about a month and a half now. And now those grand juries are now subpoenaing. Subpoenas have gone out to the people of the Russia stuff. Remember, I told your audience that it will start with the Russia stuff and then go into other stuff. So it's Russia stuff back to 2015, 2017. Well, we're here now. All those people, you know, Brennan, Hillary, Nino interrupts. Let's talk about, so what's going to be the national emergency that Trump's going to declare? And when is he going to sign this executive order? Exactly. Juan, well, what Trump said, so you don't have to say, well, Juan doesn't know. Nino, I know you don't have a crystal ball. I'm not putting you on the spot with like, when? I'm just saying, like, is it transpiring? Is it going to happen anytime soon? Do you think, are we in the window? Juan, okay. So Trump, so you don't have to listen to me. Trump said that in a matter of days, this was 3 weeks ago, in a matter of days, he tends to get people lit up and lets the banner go for a while. It's just his way. But he said that in a matter of days, he's getting ready to sign an executive order concerning elections. It's on my desk now. The attorneys are going through it and looking at everything. Of course, the proposed version that I asked my team for earlier this year has been on his desk since late March. But he has said that he's going to sign an executive order concerning elections in a matter of days. The attorneys are going through it. In the executive order, he's also going to have if the order is going to have any value or effectiveness at all, it will be written in the context of a national emergency. And the reason you have to have a national emergency concerning elections is you can't fix the elections only at a federal level. It's disruptive. You can't solve where the real problem is, which is voter rolls are totally corrupted. You can't fix it. A whole bunch of people on the voter rolls don't exist. They're fictitious. And then you have a lot of people that we're deporting people right now. The goal is to deport 21 million. You've got 21 million people potentially, a significant portion, are voting. Just like here in Hawaii, you've got 19,000 fake ballots. How many voters vote here that don't have a legal right to vote here? Because there's 19,000 fictitious ballots. So he's going to be addressing that by having to clean up voter rolls. And that can only be done, he can only do that to take power over the states and the counties concerning the voter rolls in the context of a national emergency. Because the states, Nino interrupts. So this could happen. This is not necessarily going to happen this year. Juan, oh, no. Hold. Trump said in a matter of days, okay? Nino, but that was like weeks ago. Juan, okay. So 3 weeks ago, he said, it's in a matter of days. Do you think that it's going to be a year? No. Nino, I don't know. Juan, he's got to do it with enough runway left to get things sorted out before the 2026 election. We had the country shut down, with the economy shut down. That's now been solved. Nino talking over Juan. So when are we going to see arrests? Juan, well, hold on a second. Let's stay on one subject for a moment. Nino chuckles, and then he starts laughing. Juan, seriously, I want to give a real answer. I don't want to give him a cheese ball answer. We just got the agreement. It's a big fucking deal. You got the government turning back as soon as they finish this House vote. It's only for a couple of months, and then we're going to address the healthcare thing, in the weeks before Christmas. Somehow, and if we don't get it resolved to Trump's satisfaction, then you'll come back into the budget crisis and continue on with this. Nino, this is phases. It's phases. One, it's in phases, but now he has said, and you've got to picture it, there's a lot to be done statistically before the 2026 election. If you're going to issue an executive order concerning elections for 2026 and have time to correct some of these before the election, you can't do it in May or June or July. That's not enough runway. So you have to do it now. So he understands. That's why he said, quote, in a matter of days, end quote. The attorneys are fighting this because what's going on within the executive order as proposed by my team, no machines at all. Trump has said no machines at all. Tulsi told the world months ago also when she responded to President Trump in a cabinet meeting that was broadcast live to the world. Tulsi Gabbard said, Mr. President, it's just like you said. We're going to have to go to paper ballots. We cannot continue the way we are because we now have proof of a stolen election. In 2020, we have the guys in physical custody here in the U.S. who stole the 2020 election from Serbia. And when she said that, her people over at Homeland Security had briefed in person extensively 3 days prior to that cabinet meeting with President Trump. Tulsi herself was briefed for half a day, the day before, on everything about the 2020 election. So she came into that cabinet meeting. She told the world, she responded, she said, it's just like you said, Mr. President. Okay? In other words, the president with his cabinet had already preloaded when they came into office. Here's where we're going to have to go. Hand count paper ballots. So she's responding to the president on stuff that he's been saying for weeks and months before the cabinet really was fully staffed even. Quote, it's just like you said, we're going to have to go to hand count paper ballots, end quote. That's what the executive order's about. Trump, we're not going to have a mail-in ballot. Imagine that here in Hawaii. It's almost like all mail-ins. Imagine a lot of other cities. You've got a mayor's race up in Seattle right now. And the question is the Marxist going to get the office? Or are you going to get somebody ... That was the end of that portion, listeners. There's more to come on that, but I'm going to end that here. Yeah, a little suspenseful ... So thank you for listening. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell. Join my YouTube channel. Why not? I think it's pretty fun. I close with a closing prayer in Sanskrit and Telugu, and what I'm saying is God bless all beings in all worlds. Om Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Yes, peace, peace, peace. God bless you and yours. I'm sending much love and big hugs to you and yours. I'll see you when I see you. Bye-bye for now.